This is the Touchstone Pistachio Company's Spring and Bloom Market Update. In this market update, we will look at the 2023 crop outlook, including bloom notations, bearing acres, and global supply, as well as total export shipments, top 5 export countries, and the United States. Finally, we will share our views on market trends, current and new crop market activity and pricing. Lastly, we will review the latest syndicated data from the U.S. domestic market. The weather in California this winter and spring has been unlike any other. Pistachios need ample chilling hours and precipitation during their dormant stage, both of which were plentiful given the exceptionally cold weather and excessive rainfall we had this year. The storms and cooler weather in March delayed bloom by nearly a month. Consistent warm weather and adequate growing degree days should allow the orchards to align back to a more normal schedule. As of right now, we estimate harvest to be delayed by roughly 7 days. Overall, bloom was even among the main growing regions. While we are now post-bloom, it is too early to have a definitive estimate of the 2023 crop. With the new acres coming into bearing, total acres should be above 440,000. We estimate the 2023 crop will be between 1.1 and 1.4 billion pounds. There are a few key factors to consider when evaluating new crop. What impact have the California floods had on pistachio orchards? What will the impacts of abandoned neighboring orchards be? Will sizing be impacted again? Will close shell yields be closer to average or dip back down to lower levels? This chart outlines pistachio production from the top 3 growing regions in the world. 2020 was the last time all 3 growing regions had on-crops, with just over 1 million metric tons produced. For the past 2 years, 1 region has had an on-crop and 2 regions have had off-crops. Last year specifically, both the US and Iran had lower than expected crop yields, resulting in a smaller global supply than most anticipated. The upcoming season is projected to be on crops for both Iran and the United States, with Turkey poised to be lower due to inadequate rainfall. We estimate global production for 2023 to be 919,000 metric tons, or slightly over 2 billion pounds. The U.S. carryover into new crop has the potential to be over 90,000 metric tons. Factoring this in could put total global supply over 1 billion metric tons, or 2.2 billion pounds. This slide reflects the year-to-date September to March export shipments by region. For comparison purposes, we will compare 2022 crop shipments with the 2021 marketing year. With supply chain challenges and port congestion substantially better, we expected shipments to return to average amounts. Traditionally, the first 3 shipping months of each crop year are incredibly strong. This year, we have seen lower shipment numbers most months, with heightened shipments only in the months of October and March. Year-to-date deliveries to the Asia market are up to 170 million pounds, 7% more than last year. The 15 million pound drop in shipments to mainland China is somewhat compensated by the 10 million pound combined gain in Hong Kong and Vietnam. Overall, the China economy seems to be slowly restarting now that the COVID sanctions have been lifted, although California packers will not see the actual demand until the large shipped, unsold inventory has been absorbed. Hong Kong has seen a 30% increase in volume year to date. Demand stimulated in March with lower market prices on large volume contracts. So far, 2022 crop year shipments to India are at a record 22 million pounds, compared to just 4 million pounds shipped the same time frame last year. At just over the halfway point in the crop year, deliveries to India have already surpassed the entire annual quantity of 2021. While all eyes are focused on India's large growth potential, it is important to note that not all the goods shipped are pre-sold goods. Reports have indicated a drop in local prices due to the large shipped and/or unsold availability. While Japan and South Korea demand remains slightly down compared to last year, Taiwan and Singapore are up 77% and 34% respectively, accounting for over 3 million pounds. Europe, with almost 102 million pounds shipped year to date, is slightly down versus last year. Germany continues to be the leading contributor in the region, despite being 32% lower in volume compared to the 2021 crop year. Italy has more than doubled its incoming shipments since last year, reaching over 15 million pounds to date. Spain, with shipments flat compared to 2021, continues to hold a secure spot in the top 3 largest importing countries in Europe for U.S. pistachios. This crop year saw slower shipments into Europe early on. January was the first month that shipment numbers surpassed the prior year. This is largely attributed to European buyers waiting to book new crop until after the peak selling season. The Middle East has more than doubled its deliveries year to date, with over 81 million pounds of pistachios being shipped. The 3 main destinations are Turkey, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia. In the month of March, shipments to the Middle East reached over 25 million pounds. This month alone comprises roughly a third of this year's shipments. March's shipments to the 3 main destinations are triple the amount that were shipped in March 2022. Stronger annual performances to Jordan, Lebanon, and South Africa compensate for the flat deliveries in Israel and Morocco. Turkey's growth is also noteworthy. This crop year shipments to Turkey have jumped up more than 20 million pounds, with increased volumes of open in-shell, shelling stock, and kernels. The large majority of the shelling stock and kernel shipments being for further processing, which will likely be re-exported to the neighboring regions and are not reflective of the domestic consumption. A question to consider: how much of this inventory will be consumed by the post-Ramadan demand? We anticipate demand to taper off in this region, with potentially large local origin crops coming into production. In North America, deliveries of just over 23 million pounds year-to-date put volume up 4% from last year and up 25% from 2020. Increase into this region is solely attributed to the growth in Mexico. Shipments to Mexico are at over 10.5 million pounds, more than double what they were 2 years ago. Deliveries to Canada are at just over 12.6 million pounds, down just slightly versus last year. Overall, volume to Oceania is down 10% from last year, with 2.5 million pounds shipped year-to-date. Australia, with shipments close to 2 million pounds, is down 16%. While New Zealand, with shipments totaling 566,000 pounds, is up 19%. In Central and South America, shipments are up 11% versus last year and flat versus 2020. While Chile remains the strongest contributor of shipments in the South America region, volume is down 39% compared to both 2021 and 2020. Both Brazil and Peru are showing growth of more than double compared to the year prior, with combined shipments eclipsing Chile's volume for the first time since 2019. Deliveries to Colombia are up 9% and remain comparable to prior years. Pistachio shipments in the U.S. are down 8% versus last year, a sizable change from the consecutive annual growth we have previously seen. Despite lower volume this crop year, the domestic market consumes 40% more U.S. pistachios than the second largest country in the world. China, Turkey, Germany, India, and Hong Kong are the top 5 export markets as of the end of March. Demand in China remains steady at just over 104 million pounds, yet shipments are down 13% compared to last year. Lower shipments to mainland China can be primarily attributed to the high volume of pre-shipped, unsold goods that took many months to be sold or traded. This year, Turkey emerged as the second largest export market, with an astonishing 35.7 million pounds shipped year-to-date. The country's processing capabilities have proven to be a good outlet for U.S. pistachios that require further processing. While a large portion of the U.S. pistachios shipped to Turkey are re-exported and not used for domestic consumption, the drastic increase in shipments to the region is remarkable. Germany is the largest importer of U.S. pistachios in Europe and maintains its place in the top 5 export countries. Slower shipments in the first quarter of the crop year have impacted year-to-date incoming volume. As of March, Germany was showing a 32% reduction in shipments. The economic impact on luxury snacking and pistachio consumption is undeniable, yet seems to be improving as the crop year progresses. The growing demand for U.S. pistachios in India is noteworthy. Crop year shipments so far are over 22 million pounds, a striking 418% increase from last year. Hong Kong continues to hold its spot in the top 5 export market, with shipments year-to-date 30% higher than last year. Heavier 2022 crop shipments to Hong Kong occurred post-holidays due to large amounts of unsold 2021 inventory already in the market. We want to clarify that these are price ranges heard in the industry, or offers, indications, or business concluded in the past few weeks. In-shell pricing has steadily firmed up over the past few months, increasing from $360 and $365 to $375 and $385. In recent weeks, offers have firmed up even more, up to $390, with most deals being concluded closer to the $380 mark. Availability remains limited as many independent processors are comfortably sold and off the market. Throughout the crop year, kernel pricing has maintained a wide range. Despite a substantial price scope, there has been consistent demand around $760 throughout the spring months. In recent weeks, the kernel market has stabilized in the $750 range. New crop deals of substantial volume have yet to be reported, yet we anticipate market activity for new crop to pick up in the next few weeks. The 2023 crop size will heavily determine new crop pricing. If the crop comes in closer to 1 billion, we could see the market remain firm. Yet if the crop comes in closer to 1.3 or 1.4 billion, pricing could soften and drop near or below 340. We recommend caution for new crop deals, as pricing could very well fluctuate once the industry gets a better feel on the upcoming U.S. crop. Nielsen data for the past 13 weeks through April 23, 2023, shows continued demand for pistachios in the United States. Like most other snack nuts, pistachio saw a decline this period, 9% in volume and 4% in sales. Private label outpaced the national brand, down just 1% this period compared to the national brand's 4% loss. Private label retail prices remain consistently more competitive than the national brand, despite aggressive promotions and marketing efforts. Consumers' heightened focus on price points is reflective in purchasing patterns. Smaller pack size sales are much more prominent, cannibalizing some value pack sales. Flavored pistachios continue to do well. They now represent 21.9% of pistachio sales. Pistachios continue to remain accessible to consumers and are being incorporated into daily nutrition. We expect consumption to remain strong as we approach harvest and new crop prices go into effect. This concludes our market update. For any questions, comments, or inquiries, please reach out to your sales rep below. Our next market update will be released in the summer following the nut fill report. Thank you for your attention.